Hello, students, and welcome back to GIS 113 Data Acquisition and Management. This is our week 2 welcome video. I just want to give you an idea of what we're going to cover for this week. All right. So once you land on the home page, you should be able to go to the modules. For this week, we are focusing on data types and attribute tables. So there are a few assignments and activities here related to that, right? So the first is reading. We're going to be reviewing some of the basic concepts from GIS. And I am giving you a link here to this reading, which is an online textbook called GIS Commons. All right. So the GIS Commons textbook, I have given you a link to the Wayback Machine, which is an internet archive. This is a pretty good free textbook, and I really like it. All right. So we are basically going to be using this textbook for some modules in this class. And so once you land in the home page, you should go to the introduction, and here's a little bit about this free textbook. And this is the section that I want you to read. I want you to pay attention and also read some of the graphics. I know that the visibility might be a bit difficult, but I think if you take your time, you will be able to get it. All right. And another thing I recommend for these types of online texts is you can also listen to the text. If you're working on a phone or a laptop, you can highlight the text and right click, and your computer or some of your software can read it for you. Some of these questions might not be as relevant to some of you if you already have an internship, for example, right? So this is basically a short introduction into points, polygons, and point lines, polygons, the raster and the vector data model, and how these work. Once you're done with this reading, you will also have 2 short videos. The first is basically a history of the evolution of GIS and GPS. There are some questions attached to this. This is mostly for your historical background information. For example, the original census, geographies, and counties are often called tiger files, right? There have also been interesting ways to use GIS for emergency response. So you will learn about the Ushahidi project. So there are some really powerful open source GIS projects that can be done with this infrastructure. Again, this is a little bit old, but it's from 2010, right? So some ideas have evolved since this video was made, and so you can also reflect on some of that. We have a lot more availability of data nowadays since our mobile phones and wearable technology gives us location information. This is also a short but important video on vector data and attribute tables, right? We are going to be working with attribute tables for this week's tutorial. So this short video should give us an introduction as to how attribute tables work. Remember that attribute tables provide the link between the geometry or the shape file and the data that we want to display. And there are some basic structures. Not all the fields in the attribute table are created equal, right? And so some fields have specific characteristics. And so it's important for us to understand that some fields can be designated as text, other fields can be designated as numbers. And we can do different operations to different fields depending on how we have created them, right? So this is important to remember, because when we are creating data and we are creating tables, depending on how we classify a field, we can also insert a certain amount of information on that. And so this is just a way in which it shows that our physical attribute tables are connected to physical space, right? The digital spaces that we create are connected to physical megabytes, gigabytes, etc. And so that's also reflected on our attribute tables. In the next section, you will review choropleth maps. We are going to be working with a choropleth map of senior population. Here we're just going over what this means. So there will be some questions attached to the videos and the reading, as well as the review tutorial. For this review tutorial, there's 2 video tutorials with the instructions, and it should take you about an hour to finish this tutorial, and you're going to create a thematic map of senior populations of California. All right, and there will be a short quiz at the end of this module. So thanks, everyone. Thank you for participating in the discussion. I am still going over the icebreaker and grading. Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourselves. We will have more discussions throughout the semester, but for now, I want to leave you to work on your own and work through this lab tutorial. As always, if you have any questions, there's also the Q&A discussion. If you're running into any problems, you can also check in and share with your classmates in the Q&A. All right, that's it. Again, welcome to week 2, and I look forward to seeing you in class.